for our listeners who don't know what respite is, can you tell them what respite means? We're talking pretty much specifically for the seniors market in this call, right?
The meaning of respite is to take a break from caregiver. It's an opportunity for the primary unpaid caregiver to have a short break from their duties of caregiving, to tend to their own needs and other needs of their family.
And who in Montgomery County can benefit from respite?
So if you are an unpaid primary caregiver residing in Montgomery County and you're caring for a frail senior, a child with a challenging behavior, a child or adult with an intellectual disability, or a child with an adult with a functional disability such as cancer, MS, advanced diabetes, lupus.
Got it. So does the primary caregiver need to live in the same residence with the person they are caring for?
Yes, that's the requirement of the program. The caregiver and the person receiving respite must live in the same Montgomery County residence, and they must demonstrate that to us as well.
Right. So, and I have to say that I applied for respite when my husband was ill before he passed away. And, I'm a perfect example of somebody, in Montgomery County living with a spouse who, in my case, had a terminal illness. And, it's just a godsend to be able to have this additional support. So thanks again for all you all do at ARC. It's really a tremendous program. And I'm so happy we get to spread the word about it. There are so many people who don't know about it or think there's a catch somewhere.
That is so true.
And there's no catch. This is just an amazing opportunity of living in Montgomery County. So maybe you could, sorry. Okay. Can you tell us approximately, how many people are being served in the respite program and provide us with some examples of ARC's respite program?
So currently we're supporting about 600 families that are enrolled in respite. And a few examples of those are a spouse caring for their spouse who has dementia, a parent caring for a child with autism, a sibling caring for a sibling with MS. We have grandparents caring for their grandchildren with a disability, or a partner caring for their partner with a heart condition. Those are a few examples of people that we have enrolled. At one point, we had a family where a primary caregiver was a parent who was caring for her twin boys with autism and also her aging parents who both had dementia.
I feel for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So it says many parents who care for a child with a disability often feel torn. They're not doing enough for their other children. Many caregivers miss, weddings, family vacations because they do not have anyone to care for their family member that they're helping stay alive.
Right. It's
so
very
respite
challenging.
Can help all of these caregivers. Our focus, is on seniors, but you help many, many different people with caregiving situations.
Yes.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. How does a caregiver apply for respite?
We have a few options for families, but the best way and the quickest way is to visit our website. And I believe, Renan, you were going to put that in the chat. Yep. So it's www.thearcmontgomerycounty.org, what we do. And respite coordination will, under that tab, will have a place for all 3 different applications. You'll see one for children, that's ages 0 to 17, one for an adult, 18 to 59, and then our seniors are at 60 and above. We have our oldest client participating is 106. You can also call our office. Our respite associate, Rosa Cruz, is on this call. You can call her at 984-57777, extension 1204 or 1248. Some of our seniors do not have access to the internet or a printer, and we can mail the application to you. You can also make an appointment to come into our office, and we'd be happy to help you with the application.
Great. I have also been known to print it out and bring it to our clients to help smooth the process for them.
Yes.
So what happens if a family does not speak or write in English? How do you assist them? I think you just mentioned that, but might as well say it again.
So we have Montgomery County is a very diverse population. Rosa does speak Spanish, and the ARC can connect with home health care agencies who speak multiple languages. Currently, there are 45 different languages spoken among caregivers, and about we can get caregivers who can speak about 22 different languages. That includes Spanish, Russian, French, Arabic, Tagalog, Chinese, Hindi, and Arabic. So, and many more.
Wow, maybe I should come to you for some caregivers. Wow, yeah, I think we only have 5 languages that we speak among our midst, but we're working on it.
Yeah,
So
we have a lot of different agencies that will focus on a particular language.
yes, yes, and it's a great service that they provide. I see some questions populating, and we will answer them after we finish the initial Q&A. So, Jules, what happens after the family applies? What's the next step?
We'll notify the families that their application was received, and then we will connect them through email or by phone. And then Rosa will schedule a family orientation, and I will connect to the family, whether it's a Zoom, whether it's in person or by phone. I provide them with an orientation. This way the families are ensured they know the guidelines of the program.
Yes, I think that's very helpful. We too try to explain it, but sometimes they need to hear something 2 or 3 times so that they get it correctly.
Sure. It could be a little overwhelming at first, but once we have families enrolled, they seem to understand it.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of information on our website. We have a FAQ for families to look at. We also have everything they need to know about respite on the application. And for in-home respite, we even have a caregiver expectation document that's also listed on our website.
Great. So maybe you can explain to our audience, Jules, kind of what happens during orientation, which is really so useful. I hope everybody that's getting ARC takes advantage of the orientation.
Yes, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of my job is that I have an opportunity to meet with the families and kind of get a better understanding of what the family is looking for and what they need. And oftentimes I'll ask the family, if you had a chance to get a break, what would you do? And many times, especially with the senior populations, families haven't really thought about getting a break. They just are stunned by that question because they have not thought about taking some time off for themselves. And they don't have an answer for me. So I'll then ask them another question. What used to bring you joy before becoming a full-time caregiver? And I get so many different answers, but so many caregivers tell me about how they were once a singer in a church choir. They belonged to book clubs. They love their grandchildren, but they're not able to see them as often as they like because they're caring for their loved one. So after I get acquainted with the family, the next part of the orientation is to review the guidelines on how respite is delivered.
Right. So that is a great starter for the next question. So how does the ARC provide the respite?
So the Arc Montgomery County does not provide the direct respite.
Right.
We work with we coordinate the system of respite by working with a large consortium of home health care agencies like SmithLife, respite facilities, adult medical day programs, and therapeutic programs that support children, adults with disabilities, and seniors. We offer these families these choices during orientation.
Great. So do you have a list of your consortium members that you provide to families, or how does that process work on your side?
So no, we don't provide a list to the families because we work with so many different organizations which provide respite to the different populations we support. For example, we have home health agencies that just support seniors, and their agencies don't have the trained staff to care for a child with autism. We know our consortium members well, and we connect families with the respite providers who can best meet the needs of their loved ones. So the family does have a choice, but they have to be a choice from our consortium members.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, normally if I'm working with a family and they qualify because I know their circumstances, then I'll, give them an ARC application and I'll write in SmithLife Homecare as the referring agency, so that that gives you a heads up that we're working with them, right?
Yes, and not only does it give us a heads up, but it makes the process a lot easier because they've already identified a home health care agency. So the process can start a lot quicker because they've been either working with you or have decided to work with you in the future. So it's a lot easier.
Got it. So what other factors do you take into account for helping families select a respite provider?
Many things, including languages spoken in the home, geographic location, and of course, a level of care. For example, a senior with dementia might need a geriatric nursing assistant or a certified nursing assistant during care for respite. A child with autism will need an aide who specializes in caring for people with disabilities and have specific training for children with autism. And these are examples of what we refer to as level 1 care. And it's non-skilled nursing care, and it can help with level 1 care can help with activities of daily living, preparing light meals, enjoying in a social event together, or engaging in conversation. And for level 1 care for in-home, our website has expectations that family can look at on our website. And we also offer that information during orientation. A person who needs more complex medical concerns, they're done by skilled nursing. We don't have a lot of skilled nursing providers, and our rate for skilled nursing is quite low, and it's usually higher than the rate we can subsidize the payment for.
Understand. So then what is the next step after the family picks the respite provider from the consortium?
So once the family has selected a provider, they will receive an email of the contact information of the provider. Our office will then send a profile to the agency. This way, the agency has some information about, of course, where they live, but also some information about some limitations of the family, so they can identify an aide who can support the family. So we send the profile over. The agency will then contact the family and make an appointment for an assessment. The agency nurse will go in and provide an assessment. After they've done an assessment, they'll go back to their office and say, hey, they'll develop a care plan, and they'll let us know if they can support the family. Most likely, especially with the senior population, they can support the individual, and then the family can start using their respite hours. The ARC will approve hours on a monthly basis until they've used their 140 hours. So they'll start off with 140 hours in July, and then they'll work with the agency to connect their schedule together, but we will approve hours. And then at the end of each month, we pay the provider.
Right. So a lot of people get confused on that part of the process, that they can only use 40 hours of care a month. So hypothetically, if they use 40 hours of care, they're granted 40 hours of care, but they say, I need 50 hours of care.
Mhm.
That's fine, but they have to pay for the 10 hours additional.
Yeah, that is true, but typically in the application, it states that in-home respite is limited to 40 hours per month. So if you're given 140 hours, that's going to give you 3 months and 2 weeks of respite. However, if a family needs 50 hours and they can justify it, I will make an exception. But the more hours you use each month, the quicker you're going to use up the 140 hours. So we do have families that will start off in using 40 hours in July, 40 hours in August, 40 hours in September. So they've used 120 hours. So they would have a balance of 20 hours in October.
Got it.
Most families like to use their hours once a week. So they'll use 4 hours once a week, because all agencies accept a 4-hour minimum per visit. So a lot of families will just use 16 hours a month until they use their 140, or until funding is available.
So what if a family needs overnight care? Can you help explain those circumstances and how that works?
So many families use their respite hours once a year, and they use their hours to send their loved one to an assisted living. So we connect them with assisted living in the Montgomery County area, and we work with the major assisted living players in Montgomery County. For example, we work with all Sunrise Communities, Arden Courts. We have smaller assisted living that we work with, Only Assisted Living, Serenity Gardens, JK House of Grace, and a few more. Now, some families are not comfortable with sending their loved one to a facility. So if a family is using SmithLife, but they need to go away for the weekend, what we could do is approve their hours for the weekend. So if they're going away Friday through Monday, we can authorize 10 hours on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which is 40 hours. But any overnight care, they would have to pay out of pocket.
Right. And
for in-home respite, there are some limitations. No more than 10 hours per day. We can't subsidize payment for more than 10 hours a day. You cannot use your respite hours for transportation, and no overnight care is allowed. And medication administration is not allowable as well. So those are the 4 limitations for in-home respite.
Right. So hypothetically, if a family has 10 hours in the day, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., but they're away and they need overnight care. Well, no, never mind. That's not a good example. They can do private pay through the same home care company to supplement their grant hours.
Yeah. And we have several families that do that. They just their loved one doesn't feel comfortable of going into a respite facility. So they typically will pay out of pocket.
Out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
So everybody always asked me, what's the catch? What are the disqualifiers? Am I going to be taxed on this benefit?
So everybody is always very leery about respite when there's no income restrictions.
Right.
And
no income disqualifiers.
Yeah. So this is the only program Montgomery County offers that does not require you to disclose your income, or it's not means test. And this is especially for seniors. We did have some income restrictions for anyone under the age of 60, but that has changed as well since COVID. So there are some people that are not eligible, and those are for families that are receiving other kind of Medicaid waiver services, such as the Community First Choice. It is for children and adults. We have young adults who receive services from the Developmental Disability Administration, referred to as DDA. They would not be eligible if they're receiving certain services like personal support. And if you're receiving veterans respite, you you're not eligible for our program. So if you're if you're receiving any kind of support in the home and it's being paid for by state, county, or federal government, you would not be eligible. And the primary caregiver must reside in the same household. So once in a while, family will just come from another state and take care of their loved one. If you're not a resident of Montgomery County, you cannot apply for the program. You must demonstrate it to us. We get audited, and that's one of the things we have to demonstrate to the county, that the primary caregiver and the person they're caring for live in the same household.
So essentially, it's just no double dipping.
Yep, no double dipping. Yeah.
No double
So
dipping.
our program is designed to help people with little to no funding. So if you have funding for the CFC, for example, Community First Choice Waiver, you're probably going to get at least 40 hours a week. So 40 times 4, that's 140 hours in a monthly that's 160 hours on a monthly basis, versus you're only eligible for 140 hours in our program in a fiscal year. So that's why we offer this program. That's why this program is so important to seniors in Montgomery County, because many seniors are not eligible for Medicaid, and this is the only program that offers a subsidy to seniors.
Right. And, many seniors while they may have, resources today, they're all concerned about outliving their resources. And so ARC is kind of a budget stretcher, if you will.
Right. Exactly. Not all families have long-term insurance, or their loved one is living a lot longer than they expected. We have several clients who are over 100 years old, and they have we have at least 30 90-year-olds taking care of 90-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. People are living a lot longer, but they need care, and this program offers them a break from caregiving.
Right. So we have some mother-daughter, like 100-year-old mother and an 80-year-old daughter taking care of each other. And so it's any type of a loved one, brother and brother, sister, mother.
Yep. We have a lot of siblings who are caring for their sibling in our program. They're enrolled in our program. They do reside in the same household in Montgomery County, and they're not receiving any other services. Mm-hmm. So that's allowable.
Okay. What else? So let's see, we did overnight care. We encourage families to visit. So yeah, you said that already. So we have a question in here that says, is this private pay? So it's not private pay through DDA waiver benefits, Medicare. So it's none of those, Lillian.
No, it's not private pay. So the ARC was awarded the contract to administer and coordinate the system of respite. So any unpaid live-in primary caregiver caring for those 4 target populations who want a break from caregiving applies to respite coordination. And we subsidize payment for respite care through this grant through the county.
So ARC pays SmithLife Homecare. We submit a sheet at the end of the month with the amount of hours worked, the amount of hours granted, and then SmithLife Homecare submits that sheet to ARC for payment, and the client is basically not really bothered by any type of billing
No.
process to add to their stress.
Right.
The only way, oh, sorry, Jules, go ahead.
Yeah, the only way that will happen if they, for in-home respite, if they go out of the 10 hours or go over their hours. So we approve hours each month. We pay the vendor, and the family doesn't have to worry about that. We
Right.
always tell the families that as well. They shouldn't have to worry about any billing. Any billing concerns are between the ARC and our agencies.
So this is a different program that it is administered in the government fiscal year, July 1 to July 1. So one of the questions is a wait list. And maybe you can explain that better, Jules.
Sure. It's July 1st is the beginning of the county and the ARC's fiscal year, and it ends June 30th. Is there a wait list? This was the fiscal year 23. We had a wait list of 52 people. We had the largest enrollment in fiscal year 23. And we have limited amount of funding. So when we get to a certain amount of people enrolled in the program, we know that we will not have enough funding to add on any more people. So there became a wait list. And unfortunately, as people passed away or stopped using services, then we're able to take someone off the wait list and offer them respite. So there can be a wait list. But
is there a wait list now?
No, because it's the beginning of
fresh, right?
We'd be in trouble if there was wait list now. We just started with the new fiscal year.
Right.
Typically, if a wait list starts, it's going to be sometime in March. In fact, our enrollment period, we have an enrollment period where families can apply from July 5th through March 31st. And that's actually noted on our website, and it's noted on the respite application.
Right. And it's always good to make sure you have time to plan a bit. You can give ARC 30 days to approve it, but in my experience, they're generally faster, but that would be like generally the longest time they would wait for approval.
30 business days.
Right. 30 business days.
Yeah, 30 business days. We do sometimes can approve them faster. It just depends on how many applications we get in. And then every year, families enrolled in respite have to renew their applications. So this year, starting in April, we had to send out 600 renewals to families. So we're doing renewals, and we can't do renewals and approve new applications. That's why we have an enrollment period.
Mm-hmm. So, Jules, occasionally I get people from PG County or other counties, and I have a question in here about other Maryland counties with similar contract awards. Can you speak to that? I have a little knowledge, but probably you have more.
PG County does have a respite program as well. Not all ARCs provide respite. They don't, every single ARC. Lauren, how many ARCs are there in the United States? Do you know?
That is a good question. Let me see if I can find that answer.
I know that there is an ARC at PG, but they are not the contract holder for respite. It comes from their Department of Social Services. And not all, there are 24 counties in Maryland. And for example, Frederick County paused their respite program. Many of the counties don't have the infrastructure to support a respite program. But we are very fortunate. Yeah, but not, and also not all counties use our same model. They allow for in rural areas, for example, the primary caregiver doesn't have to live in the same household. So they're similar but different, but not all ARCs will be automatically handle the contract for the counties. It's different from county to county.
Yeah, and I found nothing in DC to help families other than Medicaid and some state programs, but nothing like this.
No, they offer a very small respite program in the city. It is a maze to go through. It's just not, it's not so simple because you're going through the DC government. Which makes our program very unique is that we have a contract with the county. So if you want to apply for respite, you have to come to the Arc Montgomery County. If you want a subsidy for it. Respite can be offered to any family, but if you want a subsidy in Montgomery County, you have to go through the Arc Montgomery County.
So there's about 700 chapters of the ARC across the nation. There are 10 chapters in Maryland, and each serves a different geographic area. I'd say that Montgomery and PG counties are more specific to the county itself, whereas like the Central Chesapeake actually goes across to the Eastern Shore as well. So, and as Jules said, everybody offers different programs through their chapter.
Yeah, a lot of it gets confusing for our folks in the disability world, because if their child or adult with a disability is receiving DDA services, that services also provides respite. So it confuses the families because the ARC is a DDA provider, but we don't offer DDA respite. We offer county respite. So it gets a little confusing. But we can always walk the families through that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as I've seen, Montgomery County's the best, but I may be prejudiced.
Well, we like to think so too, but but I must say that our respite application, the state was able to gather so much data from our application. Our application now has become the model for all the counties. The state implemented that. So because we collect a lot of data to give to the county.
Congratulations.
Yes, we're very happy about that.
So you've been awarded the contract for the last 5 years that I recall. Is that correct?
Well, we've actually had this contract for close to 30 years.
Ooh.
The contract lasts every 5 years. COVID put a little extended our contract for 2 years. So we've had the last contract for 7 years, and then we had to bid on it. So the county puts out a proposal and people can bid on it. And based upon your experiences and lots of other things, anyone could bid on the contract, but you have to definitely have a support system in place and the infrastructure in place. It's not just about our team. Our communications team is very involved in the respite program. Our finance department is also involved in it. And we have a large consortium that takes a lot of time to build that, develop that. And another requirement of the contract is to do community outreach, such as we're doing today.
Right. Well, does anybody else in our audience have any questions? Anybody out there?
Hey,
Lillian,
Kathleen,
you get the
I'd
prize. Oh,
like to
go
say
ahead.
something.
Yes.
Being a client liaison with SmithLife, I've worked with a lot of clients using the ARC, and we've even gone and helped them fill out the application. And it's just, we're so fortunate to have this in our county. But one thing that I also wanted to mention is that with a lot of families, including my father, they're very reluctant. The client is very reluctant to have a caregiver because they don't want to put the burden of having to pay for a caregiver on the family.
Right.
And with a program like this, it's just like an icebreaker where the client, when they know that these 140 hours are being provided by the county and the family's not incurring the cost, it softens it up. And then they're very likely to accept the caregiver and then continue with the service later on. So it's like a win-win situation for everybody.
It really is, and it gives the caregiver such a needed break from caregiving. And we are required to do a satisfaction survey at the end of each year, and we hear it from everyone how they have benefit and they feel so refreshed. Just getting away once a week helps them to do what they need to do to take care of themselves. I hear a lot from seniors that they just get a joy out of seeing their grandchildren once a week. It's so important to them to connect with their grandchildren. And I just love hearing those stories. I love hearing that a caregiver can go on vacation with another family member and they come back feeling very refreshed, and they could go back into caregiving, and they know that they can look forward to a vacation each year. So those are some wonderful stories to hear from the families.
Yes, that's great. Great point, Renan. It does build a bridge, especially for first-time caregiver agency users. So we have somebody asking about long-term care. If a family has long-term care insurance, can they also apply for Arc Respite?
Yes, but they should really use their long-term care first before applying. If you have other services in place, again, the program is designed for families with little to no services. So depending on your long-term care plan, if you're able to get the care you need, we recommend that you do that first until it runs out and then apply.
Yeah, and the second part of that question is, do you know if the respite care subsidy would help count towards the elimination period in the long-term care policy?
Yeah, it does. We don't write a letter to the insurance company. We would just show them the authorization for the months with the hours. We don't do any formal writing though of letters.
Right. So if they're using SmithLife Homecare, they have a 30-day elimination period, and you have care for 30 days. It doesn't matter that ARC pays for it or they pay for it, private pay.
No,
generally speaking, it's always good to check with your long-term care insurance, because there's over 150 different kinds of long-term care insurance and parameters and etc.
Yeah.
So
that happens a lot. Many families have long-term care insurance, and it just differs. Some families will have it for 6 months, some will have it for years.
Right. Have another person asking if SmithLife Homecare is associated with Charles E. Smith Life Communities. And yes, we are. We are a sister company with Charles E. Smith Life Communities. We have one office in Ringhouse where we have a lot of ARC recipients. And we have another office right next to the Hebrew home. So between the two of us, we're a very trusted brand in the marketplace. If I didn't mention it earlier, SmithLife Homecare has over 400 caregivers serving Montgomery County, and we are, ready, willing, and able to help you with your ARC respite application or caregiving. We do also serve Washington, D.C. area, but that is not an ARC respite land in D.C. It's a wild, wild west in D.C. You're on your own.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Any other questions from the audience out there? Going once, twice, third time? No. Renan, do you want to put our contact information in there? Erica Chavez with SmithLife Homecare is the best person to contact if you live in Montgomery County, Rockville, wherever. She'd be happy to take your call regarding new service. And if there's no further anything you'd like to say additionally before I close, Jules?
If you need any assistance with the application, feel free to call us. I think our email and our phone number were put in the chat. If you feel like you'd like to come in and talk to us, we're happy to meet with you, schedule an appointment. And you can also email us. Lauren, thank you so much, at respite@arcmontmd.org. That's also that's also on a respite application. But we look forward to helping all of you. So please get your applications in, and we look forward to giving you a well-deserved break. Thank you so much again
Thank you, Jules.
for this opportunity.
And thank
forward to
you,
helping
Rosa,
everyone.
Thank you.
and Lauren.
nice afternoon.
Thank you to our audience for participating. We appreciate it. And again, Arc Montgomery County's phone number is 301-984-5777. SmithLife Homecare is 301-816-5506. And we're ready to help. Thanks
Yeah,
very much.
Make sure you put that extension 1204 in there.
Extension it says 1206. Is it 1204?
1206 is my direct line.
Oh,
Rosa's is 1204, and then we also have Carrie's at 1248.
okay.
Calling 1204 would get someone on my team immediately. I'm often out in the community or doing parent and orientation. So to get someone first, Rosa's in our office every day.
Go Rosa. Okay. Got it. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank
Look forward to
you.
helping you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.